this about Steph. I think he came in, he's the golden boy. He came in and destroyed record books, won championships, beat LeBron. He's done a lot of things that probably angered other players and other fans. That's why I don't think he gets the respect he deserves. He's obviously the greatest shooter to ever play the game, and I can see people being bitter from that. Not to mention the whole light skin thing, and people have problems with that. Ooh, very, very big statement from Matt Barnes. We're joined once again by Chris Broussard.
Light skin president. He's the president of the Light Skin Club.
Give us your take. What do you think about these comments?
Well, I am going to cut to the chase and get to the quote that has everybody buzzing and in an uproar, the light skin thing. And you guys have heard Shannon and I joke about it. Rob Parker and I have joked about it on our radio show. But I don't believe most non-black people, unless they've really spent a ton of time around black people, maybe grew up around blacks, understand, certainly not fully understand what blacks are talking about when they say light skin. They are not referring to Larry Bird or J.J. Redick. Like, they're not talking, they wouldn't call a white person light skin. They're not talking about a Hispanic person, an Asian person. They are talking about a light skinned black person.
I think most white people get that.
I know at our radio show, guys, Mexicans and others start thinking they talking about them being light skinned. When we, so this is because as obsessed with blacks, as obsessed as black people are, understandably, with racism, I think, unfortunately, because I hate it, we're just as obsessed with colorism. And colorism is the variation of skin tones within the black community.
The melanin in your skin.
When you got the two extremes right here between myself and Shannon. And this, of course, dates all the way back to slavery, where light-skinned blacks, because biologically, virtually all of them, if not all of them, are related to the slave master, whites. So that's the slave master with the slave women. And they got certain privileges.
They were in the house. The dark skin, they got to the field. They got, they got to sleep in the house, and the dark skin when they got the slave quarters. So there became resentment, Skip, between the darker and the lighters. And the light skin was like, oh, we sick, boss, so we got it good. No, we don't. You do understand.
Some of the light skin.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but it was like.
I wouldn't put all of them like that.
But they got.
Because the freedom fighters, W.B. Du Bois, Adam Clayton Powell, Malcolm X, they all been light-skinned. Muhammad Ali. So that's a generalization that doesn't really fit the history.
No, not all, but the way there was enough of them that were treated better than the dark skins.
They got better treatment.
That the dark skins built up a resentment. And with Steph Curry, Skip, they look at Steph. We've never seen a small guy be able to impact the game like him. He changed the game because before it was all about athleticism. How high can you jump? Can you dunk from the free throw line? And Steph's like, no, I can stay out here and have a greater impact than you can jumping from the free throw line and dunking. And so Steph made it okay for guys like, okay, I'm not athletic, but I can shoot. And then there's something else at play, Skip. A lot of the guys come from a situation where they're not like Steph. Steph's parents were together. They still are together. Steph could sit on the sideline on his dad's lap. See, we relate more to people that endured kind of like what we went through. LeBron James come from a broken household. Kevin Durant come from a broken household. And they look at Steph like, bro, you came in, you got a silver spoon in your mouth.
Well,
here's the thing, though. Not only did darker-skinned blacks grow resentment toward lighter-skinned blacks, they also had jealousy toward, and I would even argue in some cases admiration for the light-skinned blacks. And Steph,
they got treated a certain way. Look at Hollywood.
No, I get it, but there's jealousy there too. And Steph, look, let's just cut to the chase. Sports, because the physical work in the field was much harder, tougher. That's the physical work. Sports is physical. Basketball, football in particular, has been the domain of the field. So field Negroes. So, and that's historically what it's been. Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Julius Erving, Elgin Baylor, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, LeBron, KD, Kobe and Shaq. And now here come this light-skinned dude, like you said, not only dominating, but changing the game. And I don't think there's media hate towards Steph. Like there's talk, Rob Parker, maybe a few others don't like him. But the white analytic-driven media has fawned over Steph, especially in 2015, 2016, when he really emerged as this superstar. And that's why he was the first unanimous MVP. He shouldn't have been the first unanimous MVP.
And guys are resentful.
And that's where...
No, Mike Skip, you love Mike. You say he's the GOAT. He didn't win one MVP unanimously. Not LeBron, not Larry, not Magic, not Russell. Nobody. Little Steph. Little 6'2", light-skinned Steph is the first. No, that ain't right.
Here's the hypocrisy, though. And you mentioned the way Steph grew up and was raised, and some players not relating to that. They all want to raise their children just like Steph was raised. How Bronny and you know, little LeBron's kids gonna be raised?
Private school.
They raised just like Steph kids. KD's, all these guys' kids are gonna be raised like Steph. So you want to hate on him for being raised that way, but yet you raising your kids the same way. That's where the jealousy comes in that it's not just resentment, it's also some jealousy and hypocrisy because you want your kids to be raised just like he was raised.
Okay, I got questions.
Gotcha.
Matt Barnes' quote is, and people have problems with that, with light skin. Who are people? I just want to, because this is so serious.
He's talking about blacks.
I think he's thinking about the darker skinned players that's in the league.
How many people and who are they? Are we talking about the darker skinned players in the league, or are we talking about people on Twitter?
Matt told me that when he came in, and he was regarded as one of the tougher guys in the league.
Right.
Oh,
but when he first got in the league, he said dudes thought, oh, he gonna be soft.
Because
he's light skinned. You know,
and what he had to do?
He had to show, like, no, this is not that type of party. So, yeah, there is that.
Okay.
I don't think it's a hate.
From players, not Twitter followers or IG followers, right? This isn't just a populist.
No, I think it's some, look, first of all, I don't think now, Iguodala and Matt Barnes know the players better than I do. But I don't think there's just this huge hatred, right, for Steph. I just think that there is some resentment, some jealousy there of him, and we're kind of shedding light on the light skin thing.
You said that the things that Steph does, how he shimmies and he's doing all this other thing that some players do, they would be...
What are we doing? He hot dogs, he showboats, he celebrates like crazy after mid-game threes. Yeah. Where I'm saying, how does he get away with this?
Is that,
I love Steph Curry.
Though? I mean, Mark Jackson did the helicopter.
Okay, but
LeBron
listen,
struts after he's done something. He's strutting, looking around at the crowd.
He doesn't as much as Steph does.
He shimmies. I think that turns some fans off.
After a while, it's too much. Now, I got to go back to the light skin thing. Yeah, you have told me several times before when this has come up, if a player has biracial parents, maybe white mom, black dad, that player is considered flat out black. What the one drop theory?
That's the American. That's been American history.
Okay,
the one drop rule.
All right. Yet the flip side of this is you're saying that some black players, some older black players or other black people say, wait a second, if you're light skinned, I don't love that. Right. So it's like
that's not right. Because I'm gonna keep it 100. A lot of these dudes that want to hate on Steph because he's light-skinned, there's hypocrisy because they all want to date light-skinned women. I'm just keeping it real.
Okay.
There is this colorism thing in the black community is deep.
It is very deep.
They think light-skinned blacks are viewed as prettier.
And they received an unfair advantage no matter what the case may be.
Okay.
You look at Hollywood, Skip, and how the light-skinned women, they got the roles if they were to get roles. And they look at Steph as like, Steph doesn't receive the criticism like a LeBron when things go wrong.
All right.
And people become resentful of him. They're like...
But here's why, too, because he's become so dominant. Because Jason Kidd didn't get that. Because he was, as great as he wasn't like the best player in the conversation. Klay Thompson doesn't get that either. Because he's not, like Steph has changed the game and dominated.
But Steph doesn't have biracial parents because they're both considered, I mean, they're
but
light
obviously
skinned.
there is a lot of white, like me. I don't have biracial parents, but there's a lot of white blood in me. So it's that
So now back to the basketball context. My issues with Steph are he has not lived up to clutch moments in his career because I still haven't gotten over the disaster that he was in games 5, 6, and 7 of the 2016 finals when they had a 3-1 lead. Right. Last 3 games of that, he has 7 assists to 12 turnovers. In the fourth quarter of those 3 games, 2 of them at home, he shot 30% from the field and 25% from 3. And you remember the game 7, Steph?
Behind the back. You can't get over that.
I can't get over that because that was only 1 turnover in the fourth.
He's admitted that was bad.
Well, and in the fourth quarter of that game, he went 1 for 6 from the field and 1 for 5 from 3, and it was just winnable all the way home. And finally, Kyrie said, "I've had enough. I got this." So he came up so small there, and then you brought it up earlier. He did have a pretty good look to win Game 6.
Yes.
And if they win Game 6, I don't know what's going to happen in Game 7. But at that point, I thought maybe Klay could come back, but obviously he was gone.
Right.
But the point was, that was a big shot, and he missed that one. And I think he's missed a lot of big shots. Did he have 2 revolutionary years? Yes, he did. I give you that. But I do think he's gotten a pass from whatever color the media is, from all media members, because he has never come up clutch in the biggest moments. He just hasn't.
And Chris, back to Skip, not to get back to the color thing, is that just in the community, we just always was brought up that light-skinned guys were soft. And Matt had to prove that he wasn't soft. Because like he said, when he came in, guys were going to try him. Guys were more apt to try a guy. If you didn't know who I was, and I was the same size as Steph, and I'm the complexion I am, if both of us walked in the room, they look at, oh, if we're going to jump, we're going to get one, it's going to be him. Because and I had one of my coaches in college said, don't go recruit light-skinned guys, because they're not tough.
Okay.
That was our mindset.
Would that include biracial kids?
He didn't want light-skinned kids.
Different?
So they look like Chris Broussard. He was already thinking.
Ultimately, most of the light-skinned guys are biracial. And the interesting, and this is where I brought up the dating the women. Look at college basketball today. Look at how many light-skinned dudes there are. We can even, it's coming into the NBA, Ben Simmons, Blake Griffin, on and on, like college basketball. And I've talked to blacks.
Biracial kids, right?
But ultimately, that's what light-skinned blacks are.
Jason Kidd, biracial, right?
But now it is prominent. Is it not noticeable? And that is these Division I basketball players in the 80s hooked up with white women.
Okay.
And that's where these kids are coming from. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that is what is happening. And that's where we joke about light-skinned brothers being back in style and all that. Yeah. So it's not a hatred. Like, I don't feel any... Right. Like the black community is pushing me away. We joke about it. But I don't like it at all. I mean, my wife is brown-skinned. I'm not into my mentality is black is black. Right. Because we've all faced common oppression, of racism. So I hate it, but it is very prominent within the black community.
FYI, y'all not making a comeback.
No?
Nope.
Best backcourt ever. Drake rapping. Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, Duncan. You better hope Zion is up to it.
We got Zion.
We could do a whole show, an important show on this topic.
Zion.
Chris, thanks so much for your perspective and your